Saskatchewan presents. Today in the studio we have the San Francisco Mime Troupe, Keiko, Shimosato.
Yes,
Thank
hello.
you for coming over.
Oh, yeah, thanks for having me.
Always a pleasure to have the Mime Troupe in the house, an annual favorite of mine.
Great to be able to represent the Mime Troupe here.
Shows in the park. If you have not heard of the Mime Troupe before, you better tune in and figure out that they are not the typical mime. We repeat this every year to many people. It is highly dynamic political theater. It's musical in nature. It's political farce, more acquainted to the Commedia dell'arte than it is to Mime Marceau. Look him up. SFMT.org is very easy to see a show because it's free and it is near you anywhere in the Bay Area, Berkeley, San Francisco, and Marin. Check him out. Brand new show this year, Seeing Red.
Yes.
What's going on in the show?
Seeing Red, it's the story of Bob, who is a disgruntled Trumpite. She voted for Obama, but then became really disillusioned. She's a steel worker, became really disillusioned with the fact that nothing was improving for workers in this country. And she voted for Trump in 2016, thinking that something would change and that her condition would improve. So since it hasn't, 2 years later, she comes in really frustrated, and there's a mysterious stranger at the bar that she frequents, and he takes her back in time to first 1912, where people are in the midst of a really hopeful time where workers are starting to strike for their rights and speak out against the owners who have been oppressing them. So she gets a glimpse of a time when workers felt that they could change the world by taking politics into their own hands, and that by having large numbers of people show up and speak out against the owners, that they could change things. And then she gets brought back to this time now, where we came so close, perhaps in 2016, to being able to accept or consider socialist ideas, and then we've kind of dodged away from that.
Right.
It's many steps backwards. And I think we at the collective of the San Francisco Mime Troupe were feeling that perhaps things are getting to a point where they're so bad that people would like to entertain an alternative, and that maybe the time is ripe to talk about the fact that socialism was almost successful back in 1912, where this country almost elected a socialist president.
So we're talking about a specific situation in Ohio in 1912, where the same sort of pendulum swing nearly happens.
1912 was the time when there were many strikes happening in many different factories. And so we just took a Midwestern town because it's very possible that there could have been a strike in a town like that. Certainly, people would have been excited about Eugene Debs possibly being elected at that time.
So this is a creation based on
fact.
Real, true history.
Yes.
That was written by Rotimi Agbiaka and Joan Holden, correct? So both collective members and have been so for a number of years, correct?
Well, Rotimi is a collective member. Joan was a collective member for many, many years. So it's really great that she's kind of decided to give Rotimi support because it's his first time writing a full-length play. Right. And so, she's written many and gotten many Obie Awards and so on and so forth. So with the help of an expert playwright, I feel like Rotimi has crafted this play.
Well, let's watch a first bit from the 4th of July opening at Dolores Park. Right. This is when the worker, disgruntled by the current state of politics, is getting a little intoxicated and has a first encounter with the time machine.
Yes.
Take that! Yeah! All right! Time to vote! Team Red!
Working folks of the world unite.
Whoa! Hey, what's going on? Hey! Whoa! Whoa! Hey! I'm gonna be sick! organize. I don't remember this one from last night. Poor baby. I let him sleep.
In here!
I don't know, mister.
That's brother. I heard what you did. I was hoping to talk with you. Ruby!
Yes, Ruby Chen. She has a mysterious past. She is a bartender. Came all the way from San Francisco to Union, Ohio, and opened this bar. She's an independent Chinese woman. And although she's pulled from many different historical figures, the Chinese women in Portland at that time were very, very active in the suffragette movement and working together with the rest of the suffragettes. So there was like activation in the Chinese community and amongst the women. So it's like very plausible that there might have been a character like Ruby who would then, be independent, open a bar, open a business, and her bar becomes like the meeting place for all the socialists and activists.
And some meetings are happening
Upstairs. So there's going to be an election party at the bar, which is why she's dressed up.
You, change your mind and vote? Vote! Time to vote!
You missed it, kid! But tell me, what did voting ever do for the working man? Or any woman?
Nada! If your vote's no good, then how come your boss is always trying to get you to sell him?
Where I'm from, they killed to keep us from having it.
Our party.
Party! Happened to you?
Misunderstanding.
Our party will give everyone the vote.
This comrade fails to grasp one basic fact. Elections are a show the capitalists put on. They pass the country back and forth between themselves and make the workers think, see, we decide.
Damn, Skippy!
Funny thing is, we have the power, but from the shop floor, not the ballot box. We want all the workers in the world to organize into a great big union grand. And when we all united stand, a world for workers we demand.
World for workers, yeah, right.
If the working class could only see and realize what mighty power labor has, then the exploiting master class, it would soon fade away.
And then we'd have no jobs. We need the owners. The owners create the jobs.
Without us, what do they have?
What don't they have?
Well, whose hands, whose backs create the wealth?
Okay. The owners put up the money.
Where did they get it?
Come all ye toilers that work for wages, come from every land. Join the fighting band in one union brand. And for the workers we'll make upon this earth a paradise, when the slaves get wise and organize.
In the great struggle between the powers of greed and the rising hosts of freedom, freedom will finally prevail.
This was Dolores Park on the 4th of July, an annual gathering. It was a beautiful opening. How is the season going?
We did Dolores Park on the 4th of July, and then last weekend was Cedar Rose Park in Berkeley, our Berkeley opening. And then last night we just did a show in Palo Alto at a new location. Certainly we would like to invite everybody, not just those who are interested in liberal politics. So we hope to bring people in by having humor in our show. So hopefully some people just in Washington Square Park, for example, we get a street crowd. We get tourists and we get people who might not know what they're going to see.
Yeah, a little bit more randoms. As a matter of fact, it might have been my very first brush with you guys was at that park.
Oh, yeah.
Unaware of what was going on, just attracted by the vitality of the show. This is free theater to the masses, and this is a collective that is struggling every year to make ends meet. So every donation is welcome, including sometimes if you look up sfmt.org, you can make donations of a car, of supplies. You know, this is definitely old school San Francisco collectives. You've been a member of the collective for about 30 years or so.
Yeah, actually the company has changed a lot over 30 years. I jokingly say I grew up there just because I came there when I was 26, and then before I knew it, 30 years had passed. When I got to the troupe, we did 3 tours a year. We had NEA funding that covered us all throughout the year. We had 1 month of paid vacation at the end of the year. We were able to tour across the country and even do international tours. So that's our mission, is to perform for the broadest possible audience. So that
spread the word,
yes,
spread
exactly.
the message, and educate.
Right. So we were able to go to university campuses and do shows there, and we brought many students, attracted them to come and train at our theater company. We haven't been able to do that for almost 10 years now because of funding cuts. There have been one-offs, whereas we used to go out on tour for almost 6 weeks at a time. Last year we went to Maryland, I believe, University in Baltimore. So we went to the East Coast, but that was just one venue. And still, with that, we got the interest of several students who came during the summer, and they actually returned this summer to work with us again. So it makes it really clear that we need to get back out there.
Go out there and venture out. Yeah. The reason that circuit is no longer there is purely just financial in terms of subsidies and sponsors and regularity in your source of income. Is that what is causing this?
It really is. Our tours are not fancy. We don't stay in 4-star hotels. We stay on people's couches. We drive across country. We're down to 4 actors and 3 musicians and 1 stage manager. But even so, a lot of universities cannot afford our company. The costs of being out on the road or being
it's significant. You have to keep 10 to 12 people on the road supplied, and most members have some other side jobs.
Yeah.
Obviously.
And that's another thing that's changed. When I first got here, I really worked full-time at the Mime Troupe without needing to have any other jobs. So now I probably have 5 just to make ends meet.
Right. I imagine mostly as an actor as your strong suit.
That, and I'm a costume designer as well, so I do a lot of costume design around the Bay Area. And I teach musical theater through the San Francisco Opera Guild to kids. So it is all theater related. Right. I'm lucky.
You're over there breathing mustard gas while some fat cat hot dog sits on his ass. And fools at the schools of fools like you, so proud to be killing and dying in the stench of a trench in Belgium or France, while he pockets his buckets of cash in advance for the guns and the shells and the ranks of tanks the world so eagerly buying.
It's no war to end all notion they got any use for peace.
It's to make the world safe, to carve up into colonies. As the colonies are the prize. Wealth gets concentrated, see the monsters they've created.
Make their plans in golden towers, workers' sons who shoot at towers. I never fired one single shot. I got handed a shovel and told not to stop. Digging up bodies, digging down the trees, and for being a Negro soldier means.
All those empty empires are digging their own graves.
One day they'll be buried by the hands of former slaves.
For too long it's only been a dream. All the glory of our vision, blind and fractured by division.
Every wish now calls decision, lying dead or locked in prison.
Does it feel different to act in 2018 as it did a few years before and before 2016 for sure?
Yes. When I first came to the troupe, I feel like the audience may have been larger, and perhaps may have had a broader age range, a younger age range, and I feel like we need to bring in more young audience members who are interested in theater and and in politics as well, and in our type of theater, which is broad, gestural, physical theater.
Right.
And I feel like we have a faithful older audience that's been there the whole time that I've been here, And we need to just keep bringing in new young members as well. It could also be just, there's so many different options out there now. There's so much media, different alternatives. So for young people to say, let's go outdoors in the park and go watch a play might not sound as cool as it can be. Like once you're there, bring some really good food, have a picnic, be with your friends.
It's incredibly pleasant to be out there and watch the show with friends, have a picnic. People who know how to come prepared come with their seat and their blanket. It's a wonderful family gathering, gathering of the tribes.
I am really hopeful because in this past year we brought in 3 new young collective members. So I feel like it's just a positive sign that there will become more and more youth involved in grassroots politics and getting the word out. And hopefully that this midterm election will change some things. I think we'll still have to speak out to make sure that happens.
And the Mime Troupe has been sending the message since 1963, right? So it's only the 50th year that you're doing this, so more power
next
to
year is
you.
actually going to be our 60th year.
60th year, so a big year for the Mime Troupe.
Yeah, we're going to have a bunch of activities going on and festivities.
Very good.
So
the Mime Troupe is going to be performing throughout the summer. Tune into their website for certain, sfmt.org. Well, Keiko, thank you for all you do and for your dedication, and thank you to all the Mime Troupe members. I hope people go see the show. Get to learn something while having fun.
right,
Power
thank you.
to the people.
The word has spread, a new way of being.